I'd like to call to order the meeting of the West Bend Community Memorial Library Board for Tuesday, August 16th. Can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alrighty.
Okay. I would like to call for a motion for the consent agenda to consent the meeting minutes of the July 19th meeting and also the library expenditures for July of 2022.
Motion.
Tim, motion.
Second.
Brett, second. We have a motion. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Financial reports. Joseph.
Yeah, so we only had 2 checks going out, and then we had 1 small donation and some interest income going in.
Okay. Question, our Fund 21 went up about 200. Was that the money from the county?
On the report, I think that's the magic that accounting does with when they deposit money into our account, the total operating expenses.
But they give us our operating expenses in January, the
January?
full amount, the city does. I'm wondering if the county had made a payment.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. And you haven't heard anything,
From,
Carrie?
she said that this stuff is gonna stay here until the end
No,
of the...
no, I'm talking about Fund 121. Last month, it was 980,000. This month, it's up to 1,110,000. I'm wondering, what is the influx? Can we get that checked out?
Is it, how much do you think that is?
But see, you'd be drawing from that too, because your monthly expenses would have pulled.
Would
So
that
it's
be
like
our,
300 grand, I'd say.
300 grand. I don't know about where we got.
Maybe
300
not
grand.
9
I think part of it
or a
is...
million, 100,000.
I think part of it is this.
No,
'Cause-
because it's still listed
Yeah, but I
here.
think there's formulas in here, and when she changed it, I don't know if it changed all the formulas.
The formula for anything listed in fund balances needs to stay. I'm talking about the actual operating expense. It wasn't 300, it's about 100,000, not even it was, yeah, about 100,000. But keep in mind, on your monthly, you draw down about 120,000 a month or so.
Mhm.
So it's around 200,000 that it's gone up. Could we see,
It's an echo.
oh, okay, I'm echoing, should I
I
talk?
think so. That's fine.
No, you're
Okay.
okay.
We need to get an explanation. Can you pull the records from last month and see what expense what revenue came in?
I'll do
Because
that.
see, I said, once this all started, I'm really gonna start
Yep.
looking into these finances and checking a lot of stuff. The other thing I'd like you to check into with the county is it doesn't look like we received any payment yet for outreach. We are drawing down our outreach balance, and we're now up to 10,000 in the rears. We pull that out of our total investments. So in reality, you've only got $6,000 for next month. So we need to see what's going on. We should have gotten a payment for outreach in May or June.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if that may have accidentally got put into the Fund 121 as opposed to outreach.
I'll check it out.
Okay. Okay.
Karen, you weren't trying to make a comment earlier, were you? That wasn't the echo time. No. Okay.
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 The other thing, and Joseph brought this to our attention, my attention, the certificate of deposit, the one that we have that has the variable rate between 6.5 and 7.5, bless you, whoever that was, matured at the end of last month. So we need to check with BMO if they still offer that type of CD for us to
Yeah.
reinvest that. Okay. Any other questions for anyone or for Joseph?
What was that donation for?
The donation was for, in honor of Dean Nolan, for $25. Dean Nolan. Okay. I think that man passed away a while ago. Was there a Nolan who was a school teacher and we had gotten a lot of stuff?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay. Okay, check that out maybe and let us know for next month. Maybe I'll do some perusing. Outreach, okay. Okay, if there aren't any other questions on finances, we'll move on to the library director's report.
I don't have a written report this time, but I will discuss the budget if there's questions. There's not a whole lot besides what I sent out. Joseph asked about the cost of books and materials, and what we're seeing right now is about a 6% increase from some vendors. And that could change. Heard that CPI went down last month, so you know what the average is for the year. Maybe less than that, or it might be more than that. But right now we saw a 6% increase just from one specific publisher that we.
And that was this year.
That was this year.
Okay.
So next year might change, but it might not. It might stay pretty steady. One of the things that has come up, and you know, we tried a product last year for collection development. We found that product was lacking in some regards, so we decided not to renew. I also asked for a refund. I don't expect to get the refund, but that'll put a little bit more money back into our collection, and we'll use the reports that we can get through Polaris to do a similar process. We won't have information about what independent bookstores are purchasing or what other libraries are purchasing anymore if we don't use that product. But we'll have more money for books, so.
We can purchase what our community wants
Yeah.
more so than what the recommendation is,
Mhm.
because,
The intent was to make it easier for collection development, and in some regards, it did make things better, but in other ways, it just made it more difficult for our staff, so. Along with that, we have Hoopla, and we can purchase in-demand titles, so separately from our Hoopla contract, then we own those titles for one user per copy. If we wanted to get additional electronic copies of James Patterson or Nora Roberts when they release something, we could have that in Hoopla for digital download. On the other hand, there's no direct reimbursement for digital use of the library resources, although when you think about the total cost per circulation, it is calculated into that when we're getting reimbursement from the county. So our total operating expenses are divided out for cost per circulation. So while some librarians think that they should get digital circulation reimbursement as well, it's a toss-up of whether or not that would be valuable for us. And we'd have to run the numbers yet, which we really don't know.
and you'd probably have to go through legislation to get that changed,
Yeah,
which probably wouldn't be,
yeah.
which would take a long time to, I mean.
Some counties are doing it without going through the state, but
Okay,
I wouldn't expect Washington County to do it. Hopefully they'll just continue to support us at similar or greater levels moving forward. So we're going to ask for, in the budget, we're going to ask for the 100%, which they agreed to in the new contract, 100% cost per circulation. Maintain the 100% for T1 lines, 50% for Monarch bills, I think we call it, and then maintain the contract for outreach. That's the 50% of the wage and then 40% of the van expenses. And then last year, they gave a little under 151,000 for resources for the 6 libraries, which we currently hold. The other libraries will distribute funds to them from what's ever left after our expenses for databases and the county fair we just participated in. But we're gonna ask for that again, even though that would ask the county to stretch their budget a little bit. But we wouldn't wanna reduce services because their budget doesn't allow it. So we'll ask for it, but in my budget that I presented here, I don't have all those funds listed, I just have what I'm pretty sure we'll get.
Anything else from the director's report, not budget related, because we'll talk
Yep.
about budget. in a
One
few
more
minutes.
thing, we did get another quote for the doors, and I would have this work done, and then we'll have to figure out where to get the money from out of our accounts. I would imagine this would be able to come from, I think we have an emergency fund, but it's $20,394 to replace the doors. Then we'll have to, and that's replacing doors 4, 5, 7, and 8. in the
And what
back.
are 4, 5, 7, and 8?
So Brad's more of an expert on this, but the one is the employee entrance.
That was the one that you said had corrosion on the bottom and mice and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay,
5 is the loading dock.
Loading dock doors, yep.
okay, we talked about
It's a
that.
double door set.
7 is the door leading to the elevator, off the back, same kind of area.
Mhm.
And then 8 would be the ones that are the double doors that are the emergency exit,
Okay.
off the back of the library.
So that still doesn't address the front doors?
That doesn't address the front doors, but the front doors, the pivots are being replaced as soon as the company gets another installer in place. So we were on scheduled to have that done last week or the week before.
About a week and a half at least.
And they called me and said their guy quit, so it'll be 3 weeks. So hopefully in the next week and a half or 2 weeks, we'll have those pivots replaced.
Okay, so those will be replaced. Okay, well, they need to get done.
Yeah.
This is part of capital expense. We need to keep track. Not that we're asking the city for, but what I'm just saying, it needs to be kept track of. Because I think at one point, we will get to a point where,
We already, as far as our capital fund, we're already slated the remaining capital offset
roof.
for the roof, so there's nothing more that we're getting from the county for capital. So this will be maintenance, and I did put in the budget for next year, $50,000 for maintenance, because these are relatively small projects individually that come up typically, but it causes us to feel the burn in our budget at the end of the year when we have nothing budgeted for it. So that's, and I did discuss in my email, let me just bring this up quick so we get it on record. Where are my photos? In the budget, there's a significant increase, but that's mainly due to the wage adjustment this year and the prescribed increases for 2023 as the city had determined. I added 1.2 FTEs additional program staff on the LA2 list, and there'll be some buffer with the restructuring changes of 2 MLS positions becoming non-MLS positions. They'll be maintained as full-time positions though. I talked about that I added materials to the materials fund. Gas and oil, we expect.
Hold on, that's budget stuff. We gotta wait till we get into budget stuff.
All right.
Because I'm not gonna ask my questions on budget till we get to budget.
All right.
Okay. Any
stop
other,
now.
any other questions for the library director's report? Okay. Library board president's report. I have 2 things. First of all, no one has replied regarding the bylaws. Outside of Katie, you had the bylaws for your position. So I don't know if everybody's looked at them. I'll give it 1 more month and then we'll probably just redo that portion on the secretary, okay? And then the next thing is, you all saw the letters that Steve sent out in the packet, okay? What it was is a student from the high school sent a very nice letter stating that it's very hard for her, being in high school, getting to do her sports and other activities, to get to the library, and was just saying what can be done to increase the hours, especially on Saturday. So I did send her a reply which stated, this came from their civics teacher as an assignment, and I gave her a civics lesson stating that the board has the authority to do lots of things, except we don't control the funding, and about 5 years ago, we were hit pretty hard with funding, and we had to reduce our library hours by 6 hours for the week. And at this point, we can't reduce our library hours anymore, because we would hit a threshold that would throw us into a different category. So I just wanted to share that there are people out there who are looking for us to try and do something in regards to extending our hours and stuff, okay? And keep talking to your common council people and letting them know that you support the library. Okay, next on the, any questions for me? I'm sorry. Okay. Next on the agenda, item number 6A, library card month sign-up incentives.
So this item I sent out, they want to do an incentive. I said I'm sure we could figure out how to come up with $500 to do a library card sign-up month incentive, but we really want to challenge people to circulate more items rather than just sign up for a library card, because we are getting a lot of sign-ups each month. I don't know what last month was, but it's usually over 100 a month from my recollection. And summer was pretty high beyond that, so.
I do remember one of our board members bringing up at one point about not coming to the board for a low amount of money. Was anybody else?
I remember that.
I remember who the board member was, I won't say anything.
We could take this from my discretionary fund, I guess, which I think we have money in it.
I guess, is there any place in the budget you can pull this? Like, I understand why they're asking us, because at one point we had said we had money and the board had
Sure.
said you could come to us. I'm throwing it out. I'm willing anyway to do whatever. You know, I don't want to impede anything in the library.
I think we have it in the budget. Based on the last budget report we looked at, we're in month 7's budget, and we've spent less than 50% in some of our lines, so I think we should be okay.
Excuse me. And at the end of the year, if we run over budget, then you come to us anyway, so you're gonna get the money one way or
So
another.
true.
Exactly.
So, is that acceptable?
It's acceptable by me. I think that's the way to do it.
Okay, good.
So,
Okay, next item. The budget, yes.
So there are a lot of things missing yet, and even today I thought I would have more information from the city, but most of the things were auto-calculated by the form that they sent to me. It does, in the budget, it lists the last year's budget. It doesn't really include the actual cost for our people that was applied for the budget adjustment. I noticed that, and that's the majority of what our increase is. And then the $50,000 for maintenance of the building. So we take care of the smaller things that don't really qualify for capital. In my thought process, we can't budget for a door that needs to be replaced all the time in capital. We can do them all at once, maybe. The remaining doors that we would need to do, we'll still have in the budget for the capital plan moving forward. But we'll get the ones that just need to get done right now, taken care of out of our funds. The achievements have been changed and the goals for 2023 have been changed. A couple of them remain. We did not get a library, Friends of the Library Foundation started yet, so that'll stay on the list. We'll continue to build partnerships with local organizations, and we will continue to improve collection relevance and turnover by 20%, and increase communication of library events by 20%.
And actually, these could change depending on the sessions we're having with Paul.
Yeah,
So
they could change.
it
Oh.
could be fluid.
Yep.
And then I'm planning to write 4 new grant applications next year to see if we get some money. We did 2 this year. So we'll try again next year. And yeah, the goals will change. And if the city comes back and says, we keep hearing from everybody that we need to extend hours, and what is it gonna take to do that? We'll come up with a plan for extending hours,
Good.
if they can come up with the money.
Does anyone have any questions? I do. I always do. I do. Okay. I'm looking at your budget and I'm thinking of my budget and I'm thinking, they keep telling me my heating costs are gonna be going up quite a bit. You have no increase in heating from last year. Why is that?
I have no guidance for heating from the city, and they do send out information for that. So when their budgets are, when the other department
Okay.
budgets are in, ours will be amended to.
So we are
reflect
waiting for city on that?
that. Yep,
Okay. Another question I have is, in the contractual services, I see you've got the city attorney and HR listed. It's on page 8. You don't have finances listed here. And that is a big chunk, I think, of what we have to pay the city for. We pay them, and I'm wondering where that, so that's not a contract service? Or is that just something we accidentally forgot? The audit, that's different, the 3,500, that's what we pay Baker Tilly.
yeah.
Okay, so I don't see finance in here.
I know that they're on the list for salaries.
So they're included in our salary one as opposed, okay, and I think I did see that. So they're included there, but HR isn't, so that's another, like
Well,
another.
HR is there too, so I'm
So what is,
questioning why, is it twice maybe?
yeah, we got 600 for that, yeah, oh yeah, you're right, we got 28 and we got 12, so that's salaries. Then we've got in the contract, we had, city attorney and HR,
Well, I'm guessing the city attorney is since we don't have that anywhere else,
That's it.
I'm guessing that's just what we do for the city attorney,
so,
for the little that we use the city attorney.
I know.
But HR, I'm gonna guess that that's a software piece, but I will double check that to make
There's
sure
more
that's.
for the HR.
I know, on the next page.
On the admin special
know.
purposes.
Yeah, I was gonna question that also. If you go to page 9, under admin special purposes, you have HR expenses of 1,000. So,
That, I can tell you, that is posting jobs. It costs so much to post it, Indeed.
so that's what so we're paying for posting jobs, we're paying part of their salary,
Yeah,
and then there's something else.
yeah.
My goodness. I think we're the only department, or the only library in the state that does this, but,
Yeah,
okay.
well, I don't know if we're not the only one who pays for HR expenses or these other things. We're one of the few. But
Okay.
I won't go any further than that.
Okay, okay. I'm just questioning. And then, okay, there was one thing, and I think I know what this is. if we go, let's see. Well, building maintenance and expenses, yeah, that's where you jumped up to 50, I see that. Oh, if you go to page 10, under the actual for the 2021 budget,
Yeah.
under maintenance, it's showing 103,000. I think, is that because they misbilled the 70,000 for the sprinklers?
Yeah, I
Okay,
believe that's true.
so that showed up as that. Okey dokey.
'Cause we haven't moved that money around yet.
Well, they closed the books like that, so that was probably gonna sit there. But our stuff is being moved, and I know she did move back. The finance, department did move back the monies and stuff that I know.
It does lend credit to our increase in building maintenance funds for 2023.
Yeah. Okay, anybody else have any questions? Joseph?
Way to be positive.
The only comment I had was on the gas and oil line, you marked 350 gallons of gas budgeted at 366 and for oil changes, but it's only the gas that's in there. And then you also mentioned mileage, and that's not in the gas and oil area either.
Yeah, and actually, the mileage actually would probably have to come out of admin special purpose for now. Until we figure out, because it is very specific for gas purchased through the city. And yeah, that we should probably eliminate that I will do that, eliminating the oil changes, I guess, because that's used to be done through the city, but now we do that outside of the city, so that would get her, we should actually add that.
Oh, so the
Contractual services probably.
Is there a reason why? Are we getting it cheaper outside?
I believe that's the case, and I don't know if Brad remembers, but
I would think that would be the reason.
I think everybody's doing their oil changes outside the city.
Maybe the city person left and we got 3 weeks to get a new one.
Maybe.
Go
Could
like the
happen.
door. Okay. I'm not sure if we vote on this. When does the city do their final budgets? That's like October, right? So we have one more month, I think, before we get some finalized figures.
I have to submit something to the admin by the end of the month,
Okay,
that and I guess, I don't know what our history was. I think last year we did approve it, knowing that there was
there would be changes. So,
Um,
okay.
there's a lot of changes that'll happen,
Yeah.
but
I don't have a problem approving, asking for a vote to approve what you have with the stipulation that we know that figures are gonna be changing,
Do we ever bring back the final budget then for approval?
Yes,
we should bring back the final budget for approval probably after the city approves it. We'll make changes based on what we have to make changes on.
normally what I could remember is the process, we would approve our budget the month before it goes to the city, cause we are saying this is the budget we wanna go in with. And then if the city says no, then it would come back to us to reapprove if there are decreases or increases, if we get more money. And the only reason is how can I, I think if we look, it's either in state statute 43, we present them the budget that we want, and that is approved. Whether they reject it, that's up to them to reject.
Yeah.
So if we could next month, which is September already, what we look at in
Review.
September, we would approve, because it's usually October, the beginning of
Mhm.
October, they approve it. Okay,
We can bring it back for amendments in September, that would make sense to me.
We have time.
yeah, we have time, and we wouldn't even have to approve this one, but I think because you need to give something to the city,
Yeah,
the board needs to say, this is what we are asking for. Okay,
We could not approve this one, I think, make the changes as requested, and then in September.
We could give you a non-binding advisory opinion.
I really
Look at those
think,
I know
terms.
it's gonna
really
come back to
think-
haunt me.
no, not
Back
enough.
on.
I really think what we've got presented here, there are some changes that we've asked. We as a board should approve this and say, yes,
Okay.
we are behind Steve going to the city with this budget,
Yeah,
okay? So I'd like to have a motion to approve the budget that we have here. Steve is gonna be checking into a couple things, so there could be a few changes. But this is what we're gonna go with. Do I have a,
I'll make a motion to approve the budget with the exception of knowing that there's going to be changes.
do we have a second? We have a second. Katie, thank you.
I don't know if she seconded. Did you second, Katie?
No, there was an echo,
Oh,
but that's okay, I'll second.
there you go.
There we go.
I'm confused, so.
It's fine.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on the budget? If not, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of approving the budget with stipulated changes that could occur, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, guess what? Our next regular scheduled meeting is September 20th. Is it that late? Wow, must be an odd month in September. Assigned tasks,
The only task is essentially Steve's
budget.
fixing up the budget, yep.
Joseph had some tasks.
He did. Oh, with finances.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't sound so
Okay,
enthused.
so we've got Joseph with a couple questions on finances, and Steve was also gonna work on that with you,
Yeah.
so.
We'll get it straight.
Any other work that we feel someone should do? If not, it's 10 to, not quite, it's about 7 minutes to 6, and we are adjourned.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Nice.
Thanks for coming.